What's up, everybody? Welcome to Johnny I Pro Show. I have here no other than producer, director, and much more, James Hergott. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Johnny. I'm really excited to be here.
Now, first off, I got to say off the bat as well is, let's talk about radical body transformations. Now, it's number one transformation. It's an event that goes down once a year. Let's talk about that.
So basically, it's a stage event. It's the same time as the Toronto Pro Show. We're the only transformation event associated with an IFBB Pro Show. So it's for people that have lost weight. It's not for people that are bodybuilders. It's for people that have undergone, really crazy transformations. We actually have different divisions, depending on where they are in their journey. And last June, we gave over $20,000 in cash prizes away, and usually includes other prizes as well. And it's a really fun community where people can come out, and there's evening wear round where they can get dressed up and wear gowns or a suit if they're guys, and come on stage and get their picture taken. And the tanning is the same as what the IFBB pros get. The stage is the same as the IFBB pros. And it's really grown. So the last one we had in June, we had 71 people on stage that had undergone these transformations. The crowd really gets excited about it because, we read out the story. So what happens is we show the before pictures of the individual, and we read their story that they've submitted to us of what they've overcome. And then we announce the new and then their name. And they get to choose their song, kind of like in pro wrestling or whatever. You get to their walkout music, and they come out, and you get to see them the way they look now, all tanned up and buff and everything. Of course, again, not to the level of pro bodybuilding, but there's different stages to this sort of thing, and people get to feel like $1 million for that day and celebrate their journey. So the next one is going to be on the 12th of June. This year, but people like to register because transformation takes a long time, and their transformation could have started any time back, so it could have been a year ago, 2 years ago that we used their before picture. It's a really fun event, and if you've undergone a transformation, then I suggest taking part in it.
I love it. Now, is there any tips and stuff that people are probably watch right now, they want to get into this or they're thinking about doing this? What are some tips to start off with?
So again, we're talking about transformation. We're not talking about bodybuilding per se. So it's a different sort of thing. So in that sort of situation, I have to assume that people have kind of let themselves go. And in that case, people didn't gain weight or get out of shape, instantaneous. It's a process. And the same thing for getting into shape. So it starts by doing little things being active every day. If you're not just walking, sometimes people have bad knees, so maybe they have to do swimming. Maybe it's cutting back on some things. I think the worst thing is when people get super restrictive and then they can't stick with it, or they go crazy on the workouts and they can't stick with it. So I would say the most important tip I have is to kind of merge into it and do it gracefully so that it's something you can incorporate into your lifestyle every day and sustain. The consistency is more important. So if you're going to do some kind of a cardio or workout routine, pick something you like to do. So if you like, dancing or river rafting or whatever it is, yoga, whatever it is that you like doing, pick something that you can stick with every day.
Exactly. Well said. Now let's talk about your journey as a producer, director, all into movies and shows and documentaries. Let's talk about that. When did that all start off?
Well, I got my first video camera when I was 13, and I'm 49 now. So I started to make home videos with the kids in the neighborhood. And back then the cameras weren't digital, so I had to use the VCR to edit and stuff like that. So I always had kind of a creative flair. And, right from that day, I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker.
I love it. Now, let's deep into some of your catalog now as well. MMA Worldwide was a TV show on A-Axis, as they call it, on TV. Let's talk about that right there.
Yeah, so that's Mark Cuban's network. That was in the U.S. That was so we would travel around in this bus. It was so Tap Out Magazine at the time existed, and it's the guys that did that. And we would go from gym to gym throughout the U.S. and interview Wanderlei Silva and all these different legends and stuff like that. So that was a ton of fun, and that I had always loved the UFC and Pride and these shows, so it really opened me up to do other things in the future.
Yeah. Where did your love now for MMA come from?
I mean, I'm of the generation when I was in high school, like I'm 49 now. So when I was in high school is when the first UFCs came out. So
the best, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I had watched them right from the first one and, you know, just really enjoyed them. So when I got into the filmmaking, I thought, well, if I like these, other people are going to like it. So I kind of wanted to get into that sort of thing.
Especially like back then as well. Remember, like there was like the BJ Penns versus the GSPs and the rematch, and it was like the John Bone Jones, like the Anderson Silvas, like that. It was just such a generation there that was just so good. I mean, are you a fan of even the current generation now? Well, it's took very much like not a turn, but you could just tell it's not as the same as back then.
I mean, I am, but the ones I tend to watch is the old ones, and maybe that is because I'm old, or maybe there is something to it. Maybe it's like people that listen to music that they grew up with, but, you know, probably like 1 to 100 is the ones I go back and watch the most to see the old fights and stuff like that. I mean, there was such chaos to it, too, because you'd have, like, completely different sizes and all of this stuff, and, you know, the fights are still fun now, but it seems it's, like, much more opponent versus opponent, where people study the tapes on the other guy and stuff like that, and I guess I'm not as with it, you know, with the latest stuff as I am with the older stuff.
Remember even back then as well, remember they used to do like that YouTube thing, like they used to follow them like 3 days or 4 days before the fight. It was like a build up to that. So it's just cool. Like I don't see it as much now, but it's one of those things like it's changed. I gotta ask you this now. Were you born and raised in Toronto like your whole life, or?
Well, I was born in Cornwall, which is outside of like Ottawa. And then I lived outside in the GTA of Toronto growing up. I lived in California for 12 years during kind of my filmmaking thing. And then I ended up moving back actually when I did, there's a George St. Pierre project that I did. And then I've been back in Canada ever since I started working on that.
Nice. So you mentioned UFC like to 100. Were you at the Rogers Center for GSP versus Jake Seals? Remember they had that huge thing the first time ever at the Rogers Center?
Yes, I was. And then I actually met with Jake Shields around that time because that was in the time that we had done filming the movie and stuff like that, but I had made all kinds of connections at that point in time. So, I mean, I knew it was going to be huge. Like there was you know, and it was frustrating because I would tell people at the time how big the sport is, and I would deal with people that were older and, you know, they wouldn't get it. They'd be like, I just don't get it. And, you know, look where it is now. It's grown so much even since then.
$billions worth, literally. Yeah. How is it now working with GSP?
I mean, he's a super humble guy. Like, the first time I shook hands with him, it's kind of like you would hardly even know he was there. And he obviously, that's a completely different personality than what's in the cage. But really humble guy. I've met, you know, a lot of the fighters are really great. They don't really have anything to prove, but he's a real intellectual. And we filmed inside his house and his apartment and everything. So he was really accommodating at the time and let us do whatever we wanted. So it was an awesome experience.
Nice. Now let's talk about a little bit more now of A Fight for the Troops.
So that was a movie so this is around, I guess, 2008. So the Iraq war was going on, and it was an opportunity that I had after doing the TV show to actually fly to Iraq into an active war zone, and we put the first fights on in front of troops in an actual war zone. So that's kind of like the event. So that was like a crazy thing. I mean, just an experience to fly over there and see like massive holes that have been, you know, from bombs, and hearing gunfire, and like, you know, it's so hot over there. Like, just the whole experience was insane. And then, let alone to film these fights and everything, it was definitely a once in a lifetime experience that kind of opened my eyes to some different things.
It's pretty surreal for sure too. Somewhat scary. I guess it must be a little scared. You're scared as well.
Yeah, I mean, you are, but at the same time, the guys that are the troops there are so brave that you feel like they've got your back, or they make you not want to feel like I'm going to feel sorry for myself, because they go out and they'd actually like engage in gunfire and come back and stuff like that. So I felt like we were way safer than them, and I kind of, you know, I didn't want to feel like, you know, I want to appreciate what they do and not kind of, so it was kind of, I felt like we were all there as a team. But you know what's crazy about that is, like, we had some ring car girls that traveled with us, and a lot of the fighters and everything, they look like G.I. Joe. And we got there, and you have all these like Muslim guys and everything all covered up. And we're walking through the airport, and I guess it was Kuwait? Yeah, Kuwait. To go to we have all these vehicles waiting for us to take us. And you walk through and I'm like, my God, we must look like G.I. Joe and like Barbie, like, compared to all the
Everybody else,
muscles and everything. Like, it just stood out to such an insane degree.
I love it. Now, throughout all the years of you doing film and shows and all this stuff, what's the life lesson that you've learned?
Well, I've been really amazed by what people are able to accomplish. I also had a TV show about radical body transformations, and I had a gentleman on there that he was in a car accident, lost the use of his legs, and became like a pro bodybuilder, like doing pull-ups with his wheelchair. Like, I've seen some really like amazing things of what people can overcome if they set their mind to it. I've seen people that have been homeless and broke and overweight and addicted to drugs that have completely cleaned themselves up and gotten a career and turned their life around. So wherever you are at in your life, the power of human resilience is real. And I guess that's the number one thing I've taken from all of these different journeys.
Couldn't have said that even better. Now I got a question for you is this. Now, before we were talking a little bit back and forth, you told me that there's a cool story about the screw job that somebody you were working with that was like, was it filming or?
Okay, so the guy that did our sound for the GSP movie is the same. I find out when I'm talking to him, because we were filming in Montreal, of course. It's the same guy that did all the sound for the Montreal screw job. Wow. So he had the mic on, Vince McMahon, or I guess it was on the Hitman when he punched Vince McMahon and like is capturing all that footage where you show him and stuff and you hear the punch backstage. I think you hear it, right?
I'm sure you hear some clunk.
Yeah. So he was capturing all the audio. So great guy. So just to tell you how nice George St. Pierre is. So I'm interviewing George St. Pierre and like I'm the one asking the questions on the movie, and we're sitting down for about an hour and a half of me just asking questions, him responding, so we have it for the movie. And the same sound guy, he taps me on the shoulder and he's like, I didn't get any of that. I'm like what, the last question? And he's like the last hour and a half. And he was like shaking. He was so nervous. And I'm looking at George St. Pierre. And like, I'm not somebody, like my nature is not an angry nature.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm like, oh God, like.
This is bad.
And I'm thinking like George St. Pierre is going to be pissed. And then George is the one that he's like, it's fine, we'll just redo it. Like, he was actually really calm in the car. Like, he saw it, kind of diffused the situation. Like, it's fine, no problem, we'll redo it. So, just complete gentleman about it, yeah. So.
Wow, just the first time. Like, you just take that. I mean, I don't want that to happen to me. I mean, like, one time it happened to me at this convention, and then I realized after, I like hearing the audio, I'm like, could do it again. But it's like sometimes, the second time you do it, you don't really get not, yeah. Always, okay, it's natural, but like, like the naturalism, like, it wasn't very spunkish, like, it wasn't as good as the first, but sometimes it could be even better, so who knows?
Yeah, I think it turned out well, but, I always am a big believer in putting the headset on. Like, I have so many guys I've worked with that are camera, and they're like, it's fine, we got audio. I'm like, no, I want to actually hear it, and that saved me a couple of times after that. So,
jeez, oh my God, it's crazy. Oh my God. Now let's talk about now as well as the idea that you came up with in the process of Supercar Saints that's right now available on Amazon Prime. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so amazing movie. It's got John Cena in it. It's got Daniel Cormier, who's, multi-time UFC champ and, commentator. And it's around a boy that you happen to know, Steven. It's kind of the let's say the baby face of the movie, but this is a documentary. It's a real movie, and we started filming with Steven, and we kind of show him interacting with all these exotic car owners. A lot of them are very eccentric, and then we have the other elements to do with wrestling and everything kind of thrown in. So it's just a really fun project, and it's all centered around Toronto. We filmed it in Toronto, and it's got like a lot of Toronto in it. So, definitely something you want to check out if you're from this area or you love wrestling or you love fast cars.
It's definitely a must-watch for sure. Now, how did you get together? Well, probably Cormier makes sense because you've been so involved in the MMA world. But now with John Cena, as I guess it was a Make-A-Wish dream for Steven to have as well, but just being a part of the movie and stuff, like it's huge. Like John Cena, and that point is before was it the night before he became heel or was it the day of?
No, it was the day of.
Oh my God, this is even better.
Yeah. No, it's a crazy situation. I mean, it kind of explains it in the movie, but there was a lot of tenacity on my part. Actually, Paul Heyman actually was a big help behind the scenes. You probably wouldn't even want me to say that, but I had a lot going back and forth with him, and he put me in touch with the right people, and we were able to put it all together. And I'm so thankful. The WWE was actually really great with us in the whole situation. So we let our cameras roll, and we had no idea that at Elimination Chamber that this change was going to go on. And maybe you want to talk to Steven about that a little
for
bit.
sure, 100%.
But that's a crazy thing.
Now, what's the best take that you got from doing this movie?
Well, if you see the movie, have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have, yes.
I think the best take is what it essentially says, that it's amazing the impact that people can have on other people. And we have some incredible heels that, naturally we're kind of guys that were driving the exotic cars,
yep.
and parking in handicapped spaces, and we've got some real characters in it. And the impact that Steven had on them throughout the movie was really genuine, and it's a very emotional kind of movie, and it just shows, again, the power of the human spirit. So
couldn't have said that better. Now, guys, we're going to come right back with a sponsor break brought to you by Prime, and we're going to have in studio Steven Spice himself that's going to join the couch here with James Hergott. All right, guys, we're back in studio here with Steven Spice, the star of the movie, obviously with, again, James Hergott. Now, guys, especially Steven, welcome. It's been a long time. We knew each other for a very long time, and obviously I know you've been through so much ups and downs, but now you're a movie star. So let's talk about that. Supercar Saints, how was that filming with James?
Oh my, it was surreal. It was just amazing. We had 5 filming days where we filmed 5 days filming altogether?
We filmed over 3 years, so I'm going to say it was more than that. But yeah, I guess, we tried to condense things as much as possible, but it was kind of spread out, so.
Yeah, it was a lot.
There's a race day, there's, the wrestling day, the other wrestling day.
Filming was just very fun, and one of the best parts was afterward we get to get food. That was one of the best parts. But all in all, the filming was just amazing. The people I met along the way were amazing. Filming was just awesome. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Now, how did you guys meet?
So just like it says in the movie, we actually were doing a charity event for these exotic cars where the guys would drive them around in the fancy cars. And Steven and a lot of other kind of sick kids and things like that came down. I would say there was about maybe 20 kids, something like that.
Yeah, about maybe 25. Yeah, for sure.
And I wasn't looking. We were already I was more focusing the story on that point, more on the supercar owners. And then Steven just stood out. And because of his YouTube channel, his personality was just so dynamic and willing and open and stuff like that, then I'm wow, there's something here. So I started to film him with Swash, who's a character in the movie. And I was wow, this kid, there's something to him. So I've got to keep filming more with him. And then after that, it became more and more about Steven. So
now, how was it filming? Behind? Well, you're always used to the camera. Every time I see you, there's always somewhat camera. But doing this film, in the movie, how was it?
It was just surreal. It was I don't even know. I didn't even have to practice. It was
he was just himself, really.
Yeah, I legit. It was I just pretended the camera was someone I was talking to. I'm talking to everybody that's watching. It was just I was myself. It was fun. It was surreal. That's what I'll say.
How about for yourself, James? Working with him, was it just very easy?
Well, like I said, you just wind them up and go. Actually, easier than a lot of the adults, because the adults overthink it. I literally would put a camera in front of them and say, okay, ask him a question, and he would just say it. Whereas adults are they're overthinking it or whatever. So, this wasn't the thing where there was no acting lines or whatever. It was it's documentary. So we're just filming Steven, going to wrestling and meeting John Cena and driving in fast cars, and so he was just being himself and having a good time, which is what I wanted.
And may I add that there was actually one night, on the note of he asked me a question, I would just say it. There was one night that I think it was after the wrestling part, we went to the wrestling show, that Swash, one of the characters, was actually so hungry he couldn't act. He was I need to eat food. And yeah, we had that scene took 4 tries. 4?
Well, I mean, it was a long time because at one point in time, we ran out of battery, and you have to keep going because there's only so many times to get things, you know. And by the way, you said 5 days. We went to California.
I forgot about California.
Yeah.
Well, he's living the dream here in Hollywood.
Went to California for the Daniel Cormier scene.
I don't know how I forgot about California. That was like one of my dream places to visit.
And it seems like there's a theme here with food. And you, foodie?
Big back.
What was your favorite food on catering?
All of it. Let's say all of it.
Well, I just took him to restaurants, but the funniest thing is when he's doing the Daniel Cormier thing, you know, we have this, we're staying at a hotel where it's got the breakfast and everything. And no, he wanted chips, but he didn't want the chips that was at the hotel, you know, like the concession. Yeah. He's like, no, I need this chip. So we had to take him to Walmart. That was like I have to like bribe him.
It's bougie.
Yeah.
Before the scenes.
Yep.
Now, meeting John Cena must have been a dream for you. Now, that was one of your wishes as well for a very long time. Now, getting that to happen, actually filmed for the movie as well, and meeting John Cena, and there's so many viral clips, millions of views. Let's talk about that right there, that moment with John Cena.
It was surreal. I was, for once in my life, I was actually speechless. I was like, when he first walked in, I don't know if we caught it on camera, but he walked in, he was walking all sneakily, like, right? He's walking all sneakily, and I was like, I was almost in tears. I was like, I didn't even know what to say. It was just like a dream come true. It was, my heart was racing 500 beats a second. It was just crazy. He's such a nice guy. He's funny, and he's amazing. That's what I'll say.
Now, John Cena's attitude, that never give up, that he always promotes and stuff. Now, how do you put that towards like your life in general? Because you've been through a lot as well.
I put it towards that even though when you're in your darkest times, if you don't give up, you'll get to the light of all your times, and you'll get past the bad times, and it will become good.
Exactly. Now let's talk about off camera as well too. I just want to make sure that you're good about this. Let's talk about your rare condition, because you're like advocate for this, right? Letting the people know, other kids that have it as well.
Well, I have Chiari malformation. It's a malformation of the skull, which instead of my brain growing like this, it grew into my spine, which caused a lot of problems. And the doctors at Sick Kids Hospital actually say I'm 1 in a million because by the time they found it, when I was 5 years old, they said that I should have had a massive stroke, been paralyzed, or the worst of all of them, been dead. And on top of that, I have chronic regional pain syndrome, and I can't feel my whole right arm. All my nerves in my right arm died like 4 years ago, and it was rough at first, but I'm learning ways to cope with it. And we're working through it.
Step by step. That's it. Now working with somebody like this as well, James, it's just the story just speaks for itself with Steven stuff. Just working with somebody like this with Steven, especially knowing his condition stuff and the love that the whole wrestling community even has for him. Obviously, you've seen that through just not even John Cena. Like I'm sure you've been to other wrestling events. Like the wrestlers just come up to him, they adore him. Mm-hmm. Just not even besides like the fact of whatever he's been through, just like the genuine heart that he has, and he just shows it out there as well and stuff. How's that just work with him for that binge, just knowing his whole story, backstory?
Well, I mean, I adore him as well. He's easy to love, but you know, again, it wasn't something where I was like casting and looking for somebody. It was somebody that came out to this one event. And as a filmmaker that's doing documentary, you kind of have to go with where the story's taking you. And the way that Steven was interacting with all these other people, and even though he's a kid, he was kind of teaching them. He was having an impact on them. And I was like, okay, there's something here that's really interesting. So I just kind of kept going with it. So I was part of this journey as well. Like I was filming it, but I'm also engaging in it and seeing where the story goes. And it's kind of amazing, the whole story arc and how much an impact Steven had on different people's lives. And I think it just kind of comes through. And, you know, one thing I tried to say in the story as well is that, you know, Steven was really kind of looking for a hero. Like he started by wanting to find John Cena, and you know, you met Daniel Cormier, and he, you know, met all these guys, the fancy rich guys and stuff. And I think actually, and I tried to reveal this at the end of the film, Steven is the hero. And you know, I don't want to get emotional or whatever, but like, I think that's kind of a key to this, is that he doesn't need to find a hero. He is the hero.
Wow.
Can I just add that you guys need to stop? You're making me blush, and it's not nice.
And we got to talk about this now on a different topic. Well, you are a hero. You know everybody loves you as well, Steven. Is this, you started high school. Now, can I let the people know what we're talking about half an hour ago before we got here? He's got a little crush going on, guys.
Oh,
He's got
let's not. Okay, cut the camera.
It's high, like, how's high school? Are you loving high school? Starting high school?
I love high school. High school has actually been my favorite school that I've had ever. Because I have had a couple of bad experiences with some really very bad teachers and bad principals. Just very bad experiences. And for a while, I didn't even trust the program at all. I was actually on virtual school. After the COVID-19 pandemic, I was on virtual school for an extra year because I didn't trust nobody. There was a point where I didn't even trust my own mother or my father to give me what I needed for my pain. And I didn't ask them. I just dealt with the pain because of what happened in those schools.
Wow. As well as this, I mean, on the high note, you could say this as well, as your crush is looking forward to seeing you at school tomorrow. But
You need to stop.
see, if I gotta say that, you told me this also as well. We met during the summer. You told me that there's an actual award, an award named after you at your elementary school. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, there actually is. So far we've given one, and it comes with a gift card. And we did it for a kid that perseveres and is themselves the whole year. They don't change themselves to be with a different friend group. They're themselves. And for my award, you don't have to have great grades. It's about your personality. It's about how you've persevered. It's about leaps and bounds. It's about not giving up, basically.
Exactly. Now, James, yourself, I gotta ask you now, how do you balance like all this, like movies, your body transformation stuff? Like, you do a lot. How do you balance this all in like life itself?
I just go back and forth. I mean, they're all passions of mine. You know, this movie itself was such a fun project to be a part of. And, you know, I'm really excited to see where it goes and to see how this catches on. And I think that, you know, Steven's a star, so we'll see what happens as a result of that. And then with my transformation thing, I guess I didn't plan on this, but it's an inspirational thing as well. So there's kind of this theme of inspiration that goes through it. So I guess it's easy to get up and do, you know, work hard when you have somebody like Steven that's overcoming things, or you have people that are overweight that have overcome these things. It makes me feel like I don't feel sorry for myself about anything, really. So I just love to really be on this planet and to share these inspirational stories.
Love it. Now, producing and directing for so many years, I got to ask you now, what has doing movies, shows, documentaries taught you?
Wow. I guess the crazy thing is that people, like, you'll see, like, there's some real heels in this movie, so to speak. Like, there's people that are real characters, and people just are themselves. So when you film it, they don't think that they're coming across a certain way. They think, like, this is cool how I am. And then when you have Steven, he thinks he is who he is. So the amazing thing about doing something like documentary is that you don't really have to get people to sort of act. They just, if you film them and get who they are, they're proud of who they are. And it's interesting to kind of interweave all these stories and to present it to the audience and then have their take on it. And I guess one thing that's kind of surprised me is the things that people focus on, because it wouldn't have been the same things I focus on. Like, there's a scene where there's like a gunshot in the movie and people really mention that. There's a scene where Crystal, Steven's mom, breaks down and cries. Almost everybody that sees the movie comments on that. And it's not like I didn't think that was an important scene, but I thought there was other scenes that stood out more. So once you put your art out there in the universe, people kind of take it and interpret it the way they do. And then people say to me, well, I think, you know, what I got from this movie is this and this. And it may or may not be what I intended, but I realized that you're presenting something and people are going to see it from different angles and see it their own way. So that's really fun for me, is to see kind of people's interpretation of what I was trying to express.
Wow. How about for you, Steven? What has this movie taught you?
It's taught me to just keep going forward, keep pushing through tough times, and to just be myself, and to not treat anybody else different no matter how they look, which I already knew, but that's still something that this movie has boosted up. And this movie has just been a great blessing to my life, and I'm very proud of it and what it's done for me. And it's also got me John Cena. So love that. But all in all, the movie was just amazing. It was surreal. I know I've said that a lot, don't worry. But I loved it, every moment of it.
Now he mentioned that the scene that your mom was crying as well, and you're always together, your mom, like, just, I could see like the love that she has for you as well, being her child and stuff. Now, let's talk about your mother. How important is your mother to you?
Okay. Now you're gonna hear me yap for a while. My mom and my dad are my everything. If I just can't think of life without my mom or dad. That's just my personality. They're my favorite people in the world. I love them. My mom has done so much for me, it's not even funny. She's had sleepless nights. She's slept in chairs. And it means a lot to me, and I don't think she knows how much it means to me. She is my everything.
Well said. I got goosebumps there. I'll say, Stevie, now I'm going to start off as well let's start off with James there as well. I'll give you a second. If there could be now a dream collab for you, anybody from the past or present that you love to do a film with, or documentary, whatever it may be, who would it be?
I mean, now maybe The Rock, I guess. I mean, you know, it's hard for me because I don't really think about it in those terms. Like, to me, the unsung heroes like Steven are really what's important, because you don't really know what somebody's persona is and then what they're like in real life. So, you know, I could say they're a rock and he could be like a jerk in real life or not really fun to work with. So I like to, you know, I'd love to work with Steven again. I'd love to do more projects that kind of explore where things go and his journey more. But yeah, I don't think there's really like a dream list of people I'd want to work with or whatever. It's probably, I geek out maybe more with like writers and directors and things like that are behind the scenes.
Stevie, how about for you? Like, I know like wrestlers or whatever it may be for you.
Me? You want to do me? Oh, stop. Well, I have, I think 4 people I really want to someday do something with them. Well, one person, I watched one of the movies and then I embraced it, every single one. Adam Sandler is one of my dream ones. The Rock. I'm a wrestling fan, of course I'm going to say The Rock. I would love to do another thing with John Cena. Possibilities are endless, come on. And then I got Michael C. Hall and Alan Richardson.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys this now is fan questions. Fans always love to hear this, always closer to the end of the show. I got to ask you first, James, start for you because you're into the MMA world. Now, give me your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters.
Oh, man. Horace Gracie, George St. Pierre. I personally love Randy Couture. So Randy Couture.
Randy Couture, yep. He's into films as well. Expendables, all that stuff, yeah. Wow.
I mean, I think John Jones is really good. I don't know if like his behavior outside would disqualify him, but I guess John Jones. Yeah.
Steven, when I ask MMA, you know what I'm going to ask you? You're wrestling Mount Rushmore.
What? Every time. See, Johnny, I'm supposed to be putting you in the hot seat.
Oh, you're in my hot seat now. You got to take it. You answer what I tell you.
Well, we all know my first answer is going to be John Cena. That's just, yeah. And I obviously have to put Bret Hart on there. That's a given.
You learned well.
Now for the last 2, the hard ones. See, as much as I love Cody Rhodes, he's not going to make it on the list because I'm going to be putting off of True. Because Cody Rhodes still has a couple more years left in him, and I have to wait until I see the rest of his career go out and see what else he does. I'm probably going to say... I think Undertaker should be on there, to be honest. Undertaker with his WrestleMania streak was just a very, very entertaining thing. Oh, and the last... Oh, no, why? Shoot. Very shoot. I'd probably say maybe. Dang, you really put me Nazi.
Let's put Cody Rhodes in there.
I'll probably put in.
You've interviewed so many. Sting, Darby Allin. You've done so many, so I'm pretty sure there's so many names there.
Yeah, that's a lot floating in my head. Let's put in. I'm trying to remember. I had one.
Hogan, Flair.
Let's put in. I'm trying to remember. Let's put in Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. Okay, interview's over. Okay. I love it.
No, because I know what everything happened with Bret Hart and everything.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, he's still done so much for the business.
Yes.
And I'm breaking the rules. I'm putting another round for head on it. I know it's been crowded, but I'm breaking the rules. Cody Rhodes is going in there.
There you go.
I changed my mind.
I love it. To you, Steven, as well. Like somebody that just looks up to you and stuff, who want to pursue like what you're doing. What would you give them that advice?
I'd pursue them to. My advice would be yourself. No matter who tries to put you down, don't listen to them. That's not. If they're trying to put you down, they're not someone you need to be listening to. You need to be listening to people like your mother, your father, people that will believe in you, people that will push you up. That's my advice. Don't give up. Be yourself. Don't change anybody. Don't change the way you are for somebody. That would be my advice.
Well said. Now, when it's all said and done, James, what do you want the fans to remember you as?
Well, I guess as somebody that did projects that made people think and maybe touched them in some way and, you know, had an emotional impact on them. If that's all I accomplish on this planet, that'd be cool.
Steven, you got a long way to go anyways, but when you're all done your work and all the interviews and all the wrestling stuff you do and well beyond that you're going to have so many years, what do you want everybody to remember you as?
One word. Legend.
I love it.
I want to be known as someone who didn't give up. Someone who's come legit from the trenches and come and become something big. That's what I want to be remembered as. I want to be remembered as something big that never gave up, and he was himself the whole time, going all the way through it. And may I say before I'm done answering the question, you think you can wear those panini shoes and not make sure I don't notice?
Sure. Here. I love it. Now I gotta say, guys, I want to thank you so much for obviously coming to the studio. And now let the fans know as well, Supercar Saints, it's on Amazon Prime right now. Let them know right now before you sign out why they should go and watch the movie.
You should go and watch it because I'm in it.
You should go and watch it because you have the dichotomy of a really bright light like Steven, and then you have some really authentic, interesting characters that you're going to be like, what the F? Like, you're not going to believe that I actually captured. Like, there's one guy, Prav, who he crashed like 12 of his cars. And I'm talking like Ferraris and stuff like that. And you're going to be like, this isn't real. And he's like, Google it. Like, if you go on his Instagram, he calls himself the douche. And he walks into like Starbucks and he wears like Versace robes. Like, he's just a complete character. And I was lucky enough to get these really interesting characters and then throw Steven in there like a grenade and see the impact on it. And that in itself is worth watching.
I would say you should watch it for two reasons. Number one, because how could you say no to this? And number two, this is for the wrestling fans. If you don't, you'll make my list.
Wow. Okay. Here you go, guys. James, I can't thank you enough.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Steven, I'm sure you guys will catch up in a bit, guys. Till next episode, we are out. Make sure you guys watch the movie as well. Peace!